Hi everybody, my name's Neil and I'm one of the skills tutors here at Liverpool John Moores University. And this video is really for all new students, but in particular new international students who might be studying in the UK for the first time or in Liverpool for the first time. Studying at university in the UK might be slightly different from studying at university in another country. And so it's important that you become aware of the expectations and some of the features of things you're expected to do as you progress through your course. Now, if we begin with looking at degrees, now if you're an undergraduate student, when you pass, you might pass for the first, a 2-1, also called an upper second, a 2-2, lower second, or you might just pass for the third, which is just also called a pass. Now, most students in the UK, most undergraduate students will pass with a 2-1, which is a very good degree award. If you're studying for a postgraduate master's degree program, then you can pass with a distinction, a pass with merit, or a straight pass. Now, in order to obtain your degree, you'll have to do a number of different assessments. Now, these could be exams, could be presentations, essays, and other things as well. Now, the type of assessment that you have to do will depend on what degree program you're studying. Different subjects will have different assessments. And also what year you are studying in. So year 3 of an undergraduate program may have different assessments than year 1. Now, as you move through your degree program, specifically at undergraduate level, you're expected to improve and show developments academically and also with your knowledge and skills. So at year 3, the assessments or the difficulty might be or might have increased compared to year 1. So it's something to remember. An undergraduate pass in the UK is normally anything over 40%, and a postgraduate pass is usually anything over 50%. Passes over 80%, 90% are not common in the UK. And if you're someone who's used to getting high grades or high percentages, or you might have got high percentages on previous degree programs, maybe in a different country, this might be a bit of a surprise, but it's perfectly normal. And this is how things are in the UK. In fact, at undergraduate level, a pass at 60% is considered good. So these are things to be aware of. As regards assessments, you have summative assessments and formative assessments. Now, summative assessments are things that are graded, assignments that are graded and assessed, and these count towards your final mark. Formative assessments are not graded and might be seen as more practice assessments. However, they are a chance for your teacher to give you feedback on areas you need to improve, so you can complete the summative assessments. So they're both very useful. As you look at your degree program, you'll be studying different modules, and each module will have a guide which will talk about the assessments and have the criteria as well as other useful things. So make sure you look at your module guide regularly. Also, when you're looking at assessments, if you're not sure what you have to do, discuss them with friends, because they might be having the same problems, or also they might be able to give you some more ideas. And of course, if you're not sure, ask for help from your teacher. You know, it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help from your teacher. They are there to help. But what I would say is don't leave it until a week before the assignment deadline. If you're having problems or need advice, ask as soon as possible. And it's also important to know when your deadlines are. Know when you have to submit an assignment. And so plan back to give you plenty of time to complete them. And obviously a lot of this is to do with how you manage your time. So if you're someone who has difficulties being organised with your time, this is the perfect chance for you to develop these skills. Now, there'll be a variety of different teaching methods at UK universities. Now, because of the current situation, there's a lot of blended learning happening at the moment. And blended learning means a combination of online delivery, online webinars or materials, and also a mixture of face-to-face teaching as well. That's what blended learning is, a combination. Now, as regards face-to-face teaching, you might have lectures in, with a large group in a big lecture theatre. Seminars are another feature of different teaching where you're in a small group and you'll be expected to discuss something that you learnt about in a lecture theatre in more detail. Also, independent study is another feature. An independent study basically means doing your own research and planning in your own time and then delivering the assessments on time. And we'll look at independent study in a moment. Tutorials, which are personal one-to-ones with a tutor or a teacher, where you can discuss how you feel about the course or any difficulties. And there's also a large amount of online learning, which obviously links back to blended learning. Most UK universities have a VLE or a VLP, virtual learning platform. And at Liverpool John Moores, the online learning is done through Canvas. So Canvas is something to become familiar with. There's the Canvas logo, and this Canvas will have all the information for your modules on assessments. It might have materials for you to look at. And usually when you have to submit an assessment that needs marking, so summative assessment, you would normally have to upload it onto your Canvas module. So this is just something to be aware of. You will be using Canvas a lot. Timetables, well, we all know what we need to do and where we need to be. The UK academic year is really divided into 2 semesters. The first semester is from September to January, and the second is from January to May or June. There is a third semester over the summer, but really there are 2 main ones to be aware of in the UK. And sometimes international students can be surprised about the number of contact hours, face-to-face hours that they have with teachers, because they might be quite low compared to previous experiences of studying, but this is perfectly normal. You might have lectures and classes on the same day. Also, they might be divided throughout the week, depending on your subject and how your teachers have organised your programme. Also, LJMU has a lot of different buildings scattered throughout the city. So take your time to become familiar with the names and where they are. So if you have a class on a Monday, on a Friday, have a look where the class is, which building it's in, where the room is, so you're not stressed about getting there on time or losing your way, which is very common at the start. Also, you'll have a lot of free time now, but this is not a chance for you to go to cinema or go shopping. It's independent study time. And we will look at this in a moment on a different slide, but it's something that's a big feature of UK universities. And here is a link, my.ljmu.ac.uk, and that has a lot of useful information for you as a student and your modules and your programs, information on timetables and other areas of academic study. So this is another very useful area to become familiar with. A quick word on lectures, which are a feature of many degree programs throughout the world. And here's where you'll be part of a larger group. You might be with students from different programs, but they might be studying the same module, and you'll watch and take notes. LJMU has a number of different lecture theatres, some small and some pretty big. And the lectures are a combination of slides, videos, and they usually have the opportunity to ask questions to the lecturers. But sometimes this depends on the lecturer. Some lecturers might not have time for you to ask questions, but some do. So again, just listen to what the lecturer asks you to do. Sometimes lectures are recorded and uploaded to Canvas. Remember Canvas I mentioned on the previous slide, but only sometimes, so don't rely on these. Lectures are a good place to practice your listening skills and also note-taking skills. Remember, at Liverpool John Moores University, you will hear a lot of different accents from lecturers and also the different students on your programme. So again, this takes time to become familiar with, to tune in, so to speak, but this is something that you will need to do. Challenging, but practice will improve your skills. Seminars, so speaking as a group, are another feature of assessments at UK universities. And speaking in itself is a feature because sometimes you'll have to do group presentations and also individual presentations. Sometimes they are assessed, sometimes you might have time to practice. And obviously these are challenging if you are not used to speaking as a group. Also, you might feel self-conscious, might not want to speak if you think your English speaking skills are weak, and also listening skills as well. But try not to worry about being perfect. Nobody is perfect. Practice self-belief. You can do it. It's a chance for you to show what you can do because you have the knowledge. You just have to try and develop these skills to express this knowledge well. And it's a combination of good listening skills and also trying to communicate with the people in your group. Independent study, as I mentioned some slides ago, a large feature of UK university programs, especially if you are a postgraduate student, where the majority of your program will be independent. And again, if you're not used to this, if you come from a culture where independent study is quite small, or you've studied a previous program where independent study has been quite small, this requires a range of different skills. Because here you have to make your own decisions, make sure you can research and plan and have time to finish your assessments. So independent study expects you to take responsibility. It's also a way to improve life skills of being responsible for yourself instead of being told what to do all the time. Obviously, your teachers will give you guidance, good guidance, but at the same time, they are expecting you to be able to go on and complete the assignments on your own. And here's a useful video where international students give some advice and ideas on independent study.
Independent study is a very important skill. It's not only it's important for the current studies in the university because we must show critical thinking on the reading, and we must have our own opinions. And also it's important in our future life because we may have to deal with problems in work in the future.
Becoming an independent learner is really challenging at the beginning, but you will get help from your tutor and workshop.
As a PhD student, I spent most of my time studying on my own. But during the first year, I went to some classes, so that is about 6 hours a week. So recently, I've been working independently a lot.
I think one of the best strategies for me is to have a diary or planner, because you can see what you're doing within a week or a month, and you start to plan what you're going to do. And the other strategy is to make a to-do list the day before, because before I go to bed, I usually list down what I'm going to do and what I need to achieve by tomorrow or the following week, so that I don't get carried away.
When I have big tasks, I divide the task into small steps, I will try to finish the small steps one by one. And when I finish all these steps, it shows that I'm moving forwards to the finishing line.
I have deadlines that I agree with my supervisor, but I often finish my work before, like a couple of days before the actual deadline, so that I have time to cool down and to look back what I have done, what I have written, so that I can come back and read what I have written with fresher pair of eyes.
Working independently doesn't mean working alone, because if you are struggling with something, absolutely you need some help from your tutor or from your friends or from your colleagues.
I think the universities are like the middle stage between schools and real world. So the universities kind of prepare ourselves to be able to work independently. Unlike when we are in school, most of decisions are made by someone else, like teachers or even parents.
Communication is very important, because if you don't really communicate, you can get, because PhD is a very lonely process. So if you don't communicate, you can get depressed and get stressed all the time. So it's best to talk with your friends and sometimes talk with your supervisor or lecturer, so that they understand your situation, even though it's very difficult for you living alone in the UK. So yeah.
I talk to my supervisor and he helps me plan my work. But not only with my supervisor, I also talk with someone else, like other lecturers in our department and also my PhD colleague. So all of them help verify what I'm doing is in the right direction. And all of them help me both mentally, emotionally, and academically.
Okay, a lot of, I think, useful and honest advice there from international students. So really, independent study is a combination of being able to plan and organize yourselves. But also remember, independent does not mean isolated. You still need to communicate and you can still ask for help as much as you need to. And making friends is also an important part of university life. Now, if you're from a different country, depending on where you're from, of course, the UK might have a new culture. Obviously, you've got a new degree program, so new knowledge, and also a new language, because obviously the instruction you receive will all be in English. Now, it's important to keep in touch with friends and family at home because of all these new things that are happening, but you also need to try new things as well. So it's important not to feel isolated, because if you're isolated, that will affect your happiness and your enjoyment of the course and being in the UK. And that might result in you not finishing your degree program. So I would say try and take advantage of every opportunity to meet new people. LJMU Student Union have a variety of welcome events and interest groups that they organise. And I would say try and go to these as much as you can. Even if you're not, say, interested in a particular welcome event, it's a chance for you to see new people, not feel so isolated, and who knows, you might see some familiar faces as you progress. And the interest groups, well, if you've got a particular hobby, it's possible that there will be an interest group at Liverpool John Moores that you can join. And again, you'll feel part of something, and it'll give you something to do apart from studying. Other groups in Liverpool, if you go to meetup.com, you go to Liverpool on meetup.com, this has again a variety of different groups, different subjects, different hobbies that you can join. This is not related to the university. And also, if you go to visitliverpool.com, this has a lot of information about cultural events in Liverpool. And here's a final word from Hailong, who studied at Liverpool John Moores University recently.
My name is Hai Long. I come from Chengdu, China. Actually, I have been working in hotel business for almost 7 years. Then I decided to quit my job to study international tourism management here in Liverpool John Moores University. When we entered in the Liverpool, to be honest, I really sense a feeling of home. I brought my wife and my daughter here, so it's quite convenient for us to bring our buggy with us on the bus. University has organized a lot of activities, especially for international students. And such like last time, I go to play the adventure golf and the bowling after. And at the end of this month, we will go to Chester, and all of these activities are free. I quite enjoy the diversity of this city. Sometimes we like to go outside to enjoy some Western food. But if I want to cook Chinese food, I can buy every ingredient I need in Chinese supermarket. It will make your life much easier. And when you see all those familiar things, I think it will make you less homesick. Just don't be shy. If you need anything, just ask. And the people here are very friendly. I'm sure there will be always someone willing to offer help.
So as Hai Long said at the end, help is always available. Don't feel as though there was no help. With your degree program, if you need help, you can always talk to your teachers. They want to help. Also, if you go to skills at LJMU, we offer a variety of writing classes and other classes, a lot of other classes. There's also help with library skills and also IT, and you can book one-to-one appointments to see us. So if you go to skills at LJMU, you'll find this information. We also do English for academic purposes classes, which are specifically for international students. And if you go to our Canvas page, which is NCSKI01 Academic Skills, you can self-enroll on that, and that has a lot of resources that we have developed over the past few years that we think are very useful for students, international students and UK students studying here. Finding more information, I would say become familiar with the LJMU website. The picture on the left has a red circle, and these are some useful areas to look at or become familiar with. So you've got a part about your studies, life at LJMU, and also the library. These three large groups have a lot of relevant information, which I think is very useful to become familiar with. As I said before, get to know the different LJMU buildings and the different libraries. There's more than one library at LJMU because you will need to use these. And take your time to get to know Liverpool. That's important as well. So you begin to feel more at home and more in touch with what's going on. If you want to know more about what's happening at the university, if you go to YouTube and then type in LJMU TV, you can find a lot of other videos about the university. And I would also say now, after this video, do the quizzes below this video on the Canvas page, which again will give you more information about studying at Liverpool John Moores University and also some practice in your academic skills. So thanks for listening, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.